To the annual Lincoln Public Schools Thank You Teacher Breakfast. Now, please, it is a delicious breakfast. Continue eating it, all right? Do not be polite because we want you to enjoy it as much as possible. But we are going to get underway because we have some people that need to get on with the day. I'm Jill St. James. I am your MC for today's event, and I have had the honor of serving as MC for many, many years. And honestly, it is one of my favorite days of the entire year. And when we get to the end, you're going to understand why. This is a day that we honor and recognize teachers from across our community and our state. And this wonderful tradition is more than 30 years old. And of course, we do have great partnerships to help honor our educators. This morning's sponsors include Lincoln Public Schools, KFOR, KFRX, the Lincoln Education Association, and the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools. Joining us today to honor these amazing educators and the students who nominated them is Lincoln Public Schools Interim Superintendent, Dr. John Skretta. Dr. Skretta?
Thank you, Jill. Good morning, everyone. It's just such a pleasure to be here with you. Just want to note a few words of gratitude. We want to thank the governor and staff, and especially with us today, Lieutenant Governor Kelly and his wife for hosting us and for giving your time so generously on this great morning. It's my privilege to be here today, and I am honored to be a small part of this ceremony in recognizing and uplifting the transcendent impact that great teachers have. This incredible ceremony annually celebrates those who are making a difference where it matters most in the classroom and across our schools. So one of the truisms that Governor Pillen references routinely in public remarks is that if you ask someone to name the 5 most influential people in their lives, there's a very high likelihood that after someone mentions mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, they're going to name a teacher, a coach, or multiple teachers and coaches who inspired them. And I know for myself, this is resoundingly true. I would not be where I am, and I would not have pursued the vocation of education were I not inspired by the likes of Maggie Ellison, my high school English teacher, or Ruth Michaud, one of my high school speech and drama teachers. If not for the dynamic influence of and the incredible examples of inspiring teachers, I would not have gone into education. The ability to establish positive relationships, encourage young people to pursue their dreams and aspirations and realize their full potential is a big part of what makes this vocation so special. And the teachers who are being honored here today exemplify that mindset and realize those ideals with amazing consistency. So to all those nominated today, this is affirmation that your work does not go unnoticed. We see you, we celebrate the legacy you have created through classroom connections and supporting, encouraging, and inspiring the future generation. Thank you for all you do. It's now my privilege to turn the mic over to our fearless leader in the Lincoln Public Schools, the president of our Board of Education, Dr. Bob Rauner.
All right, I suppose since the thank you teacher breakfast, I could just say thank you and sit down, but I probably should say more than that. The last time I ran for school board, the Lincoln Journal-Star had a great question for us, and it was name a teacher that had a big impact on your life. It was a hard question for me to ask, not because I couldn't think of any, but because I could think of several. And so it took me a while to answer, and I finally got it down to 2. And the 2 that came to mind, one was Mr. Smith, my high school social studies, civics, current events, and basketball coach. And the other was my philosophy professor in college, Michael Brown, who taught ethics. What I liked about both of them is they really taught us to think. They taught us to look at the issues from multiple angles. And they did it in a way that I had no idea what they really thought. So they didn't impose anything on us. They taught us to think about it ourselves. And it really jumped out at me, and the more and more in life, especially with what we see now, the way that they taught us really has stuck with me. Unfortunately, I didn't ever get around to telling Mr. Smith personally. Thankfully, being a civics teacher, he reads the paper all the time, and so he read that in the paper and told my mom back in Sydney about it. So, and he was touched, but I kind of feel bad that I didn't tell him personally. But I guess a public thank you is just as good. So, I guess I'll follow that with you. Maybe I know all of you have affected your own students the same way. You may not hear about it in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, but if they don't get around to saying it to you, thank you. I think next is Jill. Right?
I'm a lot shorter than everybody else, so I might need to get out the stool, probably. Thank you, Dr. Skretta, and also Dr. Rauner. Now, as I mentioned, today is a collaboration between several of our partners. Our winning letter writers and the educators being honored will receive some gift bags from our sponsors, and this year we have something very different. The Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools have added a cash award of $1,000 for our winning educators. So please join me in thanking our sponsors. That is amazing. I would like to now invite the president of the foundation, the new president for the Foundation of Lincoln Public Schools, Natalia, Wiita, to congratulate this year's winners.
Good morning, everyone. What an incredible way to start this morning. As the new president of the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools, I'm honored to be here celebrating the heart of our schools, our educators. Great teachers don't just educate. You inspire, you uplift, and you shape the future of our children and our community. The foundation is dedicated to supporting the mission of LPS in making sure that all of our educators and students have the resources that they need to thrive. So this morning, as Jill stated, in partnership with LPS and KFOR, we're here to recognize you, those who go above and beyond to provide personalized, impactful education. And on behalf of the foundation, we are honored to present you each with the $1,000 gift cash award. Well, this is a small token. This is a small token of our gratitude, but we hope it generally reflects how deeply valued and appreciated you are. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Natalia, and of course the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools. Right now, I would like to introduce our Lieutenant Governor, Joe Kelly, who has joined us, along with his wife, Suzanne.
Good morning, everyone. I've had a chance to say hello to some of you, and to all of you, welcome. Welcome to the governor's residence. This is your residence. The people of Nebraska own this building, and it's always a real pleasure for Governor Pillen and myself when we can host public events like this where Nebraska citizens can come in and see what they own. Likewise, across the street, you know, there's no real barriers to keep anybody from going in and out of that Capitol all day long, as it should be, because it's your facility. And it's especially enjoyable to be here for a morning like this where you're being recognized. Susie taught for my wife for 32 years, and I'm fully aware of what it's like living with Sunday night through Thursday night checking papers, if not going to a game where she had to cover and collect tickets, whatever those duties were, gladly doing that, always around the kids, with the kids. And again, it's really nice now at this point in our lives where former students contact her and say a few nice words and words of thanks for all that she did during those years. It makes it worthwhile. Enough said about the presence today, but you know, your presence is felt many, many years past this. All all of those educators, all of us have in our mind those 3 or 5 or 10 educators along the line who were so instrumental in where we ended up and what we've been able to accomplish in this world. So it's only fitting that this is just one of those ways that LPS recognizes its great teachers. We're glad to be here, glad to be a little bit a part of it, and I'll have to, at some point here, kind of go across the street and do my other duties, which involve the legislature every day. So this is the most enjoyable part of the day. Thanks. Good, glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Kelly. And Susan, sorry, let me correct that. Now we come to the very special part of our program. At this time, we have the honor of hearing all of the nomination letters written by current students, former students, parents, and also colleagues. We had approximately 300 nominations submitted from across Lincoln and Lancaster County. And each and every educator nominated deserves to be recognized for their work and their dedication. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to read all of those letters to you today. So our committee chose the top submission in each category, and it's really quite an honor to be selected. So here's how this part of the program works. I will call the nominator and the teacher to the podium one category at a time. The nominator will read their letter, where the teacher will hear it for the first time. And after the letter is read, we also welcome the teachers to also say a few words. Then we're going to take a photo together, it's okay, with Dr. Skretta and also Lieutenant Governor Kelly for as long as he can stay. And you will also receive a special gift bag sponsored by Lincoln Public Schools, the Lincoln Education Association, the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools, and our media partner, KFOR and KFRX. So, are we ready? All right, did you notice that you've got Kleenexes on the middle table? They're there for a reason. All right, so let's begin. Our first category recognizes an outstanding teacher in pre-kindergarten through second grade. This year, we have a lot of connections we found, and the committee was unaware of any of these when we selected this year's winners. We had no idea when the committee selected this first winner that she was part of the first group to attend Kooser Elementary when the school opened its doors in 2009. Or that she also attended North Star High School, and some of her teachers are also here today. Taylor Yaussi returned to Kooser Elementary, where she teaches preschool. She was nominated by parent Mindy Parker. We are going to ask Taylor, Mindy, and her son Xander to join us right now at the podium. Please come up.
All right. Thank you for having us today, and bear with me. Hopefully I don't tear up too much. Our son was recently adopted through foster care after spending his first 4.5 years in the foster care system. He finally has his forever home. While he's been in our home since birth, he was subjected to significant trauma throughout the first 4 years of his life as DHHS worked towards reunification with his biological parents. During this time, he was subjected to things that children should never have to endure. As a result of this, he would have frequent outbursts and highly escalated behaviors in the child care setting, leading to a disengagement from child care professionals, being labeled as the naughty kid, lack of overall patience, and an unwillingness for providers to simply see life through his lens, ultimately resulting in him being kicked out of the classroom or child care centers altogether, impacting his learning and his ability to form healthy peer relationships. His interest in an educational setting had become non-existent. His lack of trust in child care centers had been destroyed. He hated going to school, and it broke our hearts to send him. In the fall of 2024, he was accepted into the LPS preschool program. As a last-minute request, we changed his assigned time, which led him to Miss Yaussi's class. He was beyond excited to go to the same school as his siblings, yet his prior experiences had him scared to trust and hesitant to connect. He definitely tested his limits upon first joining Miss Yaussi's classroom. But through it all, Miss Yaussi remained patient and consistent. For the first time, he had a teacher willing to see life through his lens, meet him where he was at, and love him wholeheartedly through the good and the bad moments. Today, we have a little boy who absolutely loves going to school, is thriving in the classroom and all other aspects of life, has healthy peer relationships, and so much love for his favorite, Miss Taylor. He wakes each weekday morning doing what he calls the Miss Taylor dance because he is so excited to see her and overall has a newfound love and excitement for school, which has strengthened his development and overall confidence. We're beyond thankful for Miss Yaussi and her natural ability to simply see life through the eyes of a child, giving our little man a chance at a successful start towards academic success. She has made a lifelong impact and is an incredible blessing to our family.
Thank you.
All right, you want to trade your spots? She has to come over here now.
Okay. Investing in waterproof mascara was probably a great choice. Good morning, everyone. My name is Taylor Yaussi, and I am the afternoon preschool teacher at Kooser Elementary School. I've had the unique opportunity of attending Kooser as a student in 2009 and making my Kodiak return to begin my career as an educator for the past 2 years. I'm joined today by my mom, Castle, my brother, Jackson, my sister, Alexis, my principal, Kelly, my program director, Kara, and the Parker family. I want to start first and foremost by saying the world's biggest thank you to the Parker family for nominating me. I feel beyond blessed to hear your kind words and warm thoughts towards me. I'm trying not to cry. My heart is truly bursting at the seams. Early childhood education is a vastly unique field to work in that you are given the opportunity to wake up every morning, set on your journey to school, and teach about the things that go unnoticed, like the signs that we see on the road, the tunnels we drive through each day, and the things that make the world go around. I get to be a child and family's first experience with education, and I take that job very seriously and align myself with the 4 pillars most important to me: compassion, connection, understanding, and love. When the Parker family entered my life this year, I had entered back into my classroom after working through my first year, which we all know is a little hard. Transitions into new places and spaces can be hard, and Xander and I recognized this to be true during his first few weeks. Due to the life circumstances that we both had experience with, Xander and I were able to grow and create a love for one another that has allowed me to see the sweet boy standing in front of me blossom into a strong, insightful, and beautiful leader. In college, I heard the quote from the late, great Rita Pearson, who so famously said, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists they become the best that they can possibly be," which has shaped me into the educator I am today. Thank you.
We do it? That's awesome.
Told you would need the Kleenexes. All right. Next up, we have the winning teacher for 3rd through 5th grade category. This year's honoree is Arnold Elementary music teacher Kaylin Gardner, who was nominated by 5th grade student Elena Winsky. Would Elena and Kaylin please join me at the podium?
I've known Miss Gardner since I was in kindergarten. She has been with me and supported me all these years as a music teacher. In 3rd grade, Miss Gardner gave me information about a musical, and she encouraged me to audition for it. Once I auditioned, I realized I really loved musicals, and she jump-started my love for theater. I've been in 4 musicals total since then. She's been to almost all of them to support me, and it meant a lot for me to have a teacher be so involved. She is very involved with how my love for musicals and theater has blossomed, as she is always asking me when my next auditions are, and she asked how the rehearsals are going to make sure I'm having a good time. In 5th grade, I, along with another classmate, were given the opportunity to go to the Orff Ensemble. Miss Gardner came in early an extra day before school to work with us on the songs, which made me feel more confident. The day of the ensemble, she stayed all day volunteering, making sure we were having a good time. She also played an instrument during one of our ensemble songs at our concert that day, which was really fun to see. In music class, along with teaching us important lessons, she also educates us about upcoming holidays by watching videos and showing us different cultural dances. She is always prepared for lessons and sends my parents slideshows with song information for our concerts so that we can be prepared. She also spends her extra time coming to school early for choir rehearsals, helping with parent pickup and drop-off, and volunteering her time with our choir by going to nursing home to sing songs. Even though half of my class homeroom teachers since kindergarten have left every time I move up in grades, she has stayed the whole time, and it makes me feel grateful for her. These are the many reasons why I am nominating Miss Gardner for Nebraska Teacher Recognition Day.
How are you supposed to follow that? Good morning. My name is Kaylin Gardner. I am in my 6th year of teaching elementary music at Arnold Elementary, and today I'm joined by my husband, Brian, my daughter, Ellie, my mom, Janet Dennison, the supervisor of music for the district, Amy Holloman, and Dr. Jody Frager, who is the principal at Arnold Elementary. I'm greatly humbled and flattered to be thanking Elena Wensky for this honor. Elena is in a special class of 5th graders. As a specialist at an elementary school, I have the privilege of having students kindergarten through 5th grade. They're at the end of their elementary education. This group is a special set because they are my first set of kindergartners that I've been able to see through to the end of their elementary education in my 14 years of teaching. Me stating that I'm fond of this group of kids is an understatement. I was Elena and her classmates' music teacher that gave them their first experiences in music in the public school setting. Together we explored music, how to create sound, rhythm, experience music that we sang and listened to. We discovered different parts of the world through music. Together we went through a pandemic with hybrid learning. We sang through masks, played instruments, and still found joy of being together through music. It is hard to believe that Elena and her classmates have not had a normal school year until they were in 3rd grade. Elena and her family took advantage of an opportunity that I wrote in my quarterly music newsletter that suddenly changed the course for Elena. She auditioned for Finding Nemo Jr. at the Nebraska Community Playhouse in Hickman, Nebraska, and she made it. And she has been hooked on musical theater ever since. Since her first performance, she has been in many other productions through Nebraska and Lincoln Community Playhouses, and now Cinderella. To watch her shine on stage brings me so much pride and joy. Elena has also joined my 4th and 5th grade choir. She is and has been an incredible singer, a friend to anyone. She's willing to take risks. She's inclusive and kind. Now I get the privilege of having her brother Kyler and have similar experiences with him. As my students grow, I grow with them. Through their 6 years with me, I became a better teacher, learned the newest and best ways to teach music concepts. We get to know each other on a new level, knowing about our families, hobbies, and experiences outside of the school building. My students keep me up to date on the greatest slang like slay, drippy, and cringe. Many times at home, I probably made my daughter cringe just now. Many times at home, my husband and I will have conversations where I've referred to my students as my kids, and he will have me clarify which kids I'm talking about, school or our own. My goal and passion as a music educator is not to create professional musicians, but to give students skills in problem solving and collaboration with others, to boost their fluency in reading and math, to prepare them for all of the opportunities that middle school, high school, and life has to offer them. Teaching music gives my students confidence to feel, to try, to take risks, and try something new to them that changes the course for their life. I give so much gratitude to KFOR, KFRX, Lincoln Public Schools, Lincoln Education Association, and the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools for this honor. Thank you to the governor and his staff for this fantastic breakfast that was hosted today. And most importantly, thank you, Elena. Together, we grew. You, my dear, reaffirmed my why in teaching music. Through our experiences together, you helped teach me how to be a better teacher to you and your classmates, and I'm looking forward to watching you grow as a musician and as a person in the future as you and my daughter become musicians together in middle school. Thank you.
Okay. Did she slay it? Can I use that? Is that? Or okay, good. Because if it wasn't, that was kind of risky. Sorry. We know that teachers are instrumental in helping students find their passion, just as Elena has. Sometimes they see things in us that we can't see for ourselves, and that's exactly what our next winner did. This year's middle school teacher is Scott Middle School Industrial Technology teacher Jay Lockard, nominated by former student Connor Van Winkle, who now attends Standing Bear High School. Jay and Connor, please join me up here at the podium.
Gotta put it down a little bit, sorry. In August of 2021, I was put into Mr. Lockard's industrial tech class. I went into the class with very low expectations. Being a girl in a male-dominated class was kind of intimidating. As the semester went on, I realized that all of those fears I had were the complete opposite of the truth. I had ended the class with a 98, or as it says in my report card, commendable. Getting good grades wasn't uncommon for me, but learning about who I am instead of the curriculum was. In this class, we got to build items and use power tools to do so. From the start, I began to realize that I was actually pretty good with building things. So did my peers. Before I started the class, I was scared I wouldn't fit in. But in reality, all of the boys ended up asking me for help. Sometimes people in my class couldn't figure out what they did wrong or how to do some things. So they'd come to me with questions. Mr. Lockard caught on to this pretty quickly. So one day, he pulled me over to his desk. At first, I was scared. But then he asked me if I would assist his industrial tech class next year. I began to love his class, so after a bit of thinking, I agreed to it. The next school year, I did in fact assist his 7th grade industrial tech class. My job was to grade papers and take attendance, but after a little while, kids in the class started coming to me with questions again. I loved helping people, so every time someone got stuck, I got up and helped them. At the end of the semester, I said my goodbyes to the class and Mr. Lockard. Before I left, he gave me an envelope and told me not to open it until I was home. When I got home that day, I opened it and read a paragraph that would end up changing my trajectory in life. He thanked me for all of the help, but he also told me that I had a natural talent for helping people, and he had never seen a student so easily jump in and support other students. I am now in high school, and I'm graduating at just 16 years old. In August of this year, I will begin college at UNL for an education degree.
Yeah.
If you would have told 12-year-old me I wanted to be a teacher, I would have laughed in your face. Thanks to my opportunity, 16-year-old me cannot imagine my life without teaching. Obviously, in the last 3 years, I have had other opportunities that have pointed me to teaching, but not like assisting Mr. Lockard did. He showed me what kind of teacher I wanted to be, someone who never gave up on anyone, and no matter the circumstances, changed every student. I think that the most honorable thing a teacher can do is teach a student to do the exact same. He taught me that life isn't about how much money you make, but how much you love what you do. I know for a fact I'm not the only kid who would want him to get the recognition he deserves. In fact, I know multiple of his past students who decided to go into industrial jobs after his class. A good teacher helps you get good grades, but an amazing teacher teaches you the life skills you will need forever.
Wow.
how do you follow that? All right. I want to thank my wife, Denise, for being here, and she's supported me all these years in teaching. She's also an LPS teacher and actually teaches at the same school that I teach at. One of my daughters, Hannah, is also here, and she works in the financial investment world. And my other daughter, Rebecca, is a scientist. She couldn't be here today. So I've got those two daughters that are doing well, being very successful in the working world. And thank you to my principal, Jesse Taverdi, for being here and also supporting me today. I want to thank these sponsors today, KFOR, KFRX, LPS, LEA, and the foundation at LPS for sponsoring and providing this opportunity for teachers to be recognized and appreciated by those they serve. And thank you to the governor and lieutenant governor for the hospitality of this event. So what's my role at Lincoln Public Schools? I teach skilled and technical sciences at Scott Middle School. When I first started teaching at Everett Junior High, not Everett Elementary, Everett Junior High in 1986, my area was called Industrial Arts. We've come a long way in the 39 years I've taught at LPS. My middle level curriculum still includes the trades, but now we've included computer-aided drafting, engineering, computer numerically controlled equipment, virtual welders, and 3D printers. So what inspired me to become a teacher? Well, my mom retired as an elementary teacher at KHO, and my dad retired as the Dean of Trade and Industry at Southeast Community College in Lincoln. So having parents in education accounted for half of my influence to enter teaching. The other half came from my personal desire to share my passion of the trades with others. So where did that come from? Well, I found myself mechanically inclined at an early age. And as a teenager, I worked on roller skates at the Arena roller skating rink on North 48th Street. Not there anymore. And then, when I got my driver's license, I trained and worked as a mechanic at a Conoco service station through high school and college. That service station's gone too. That was at 48th and O Street. So I valued the wisdom of older people with experience in the trades who helped guide me in my mechanical pursuits. From there, I wanted to be part of passing on trades knowledge to others as my experience and knowledge increased. What better way to do that than to become a teacher? But I've learned that having a true passion for what you teach is only half the formula for successful teaching. I'm going to keep this very simple and say the other half involves genuinely enjoying and connecting with students that walk into my class. I was fortunate to have friends and loving parents that valued me and encouraged me in my pursuits. As a young teacher, I taught in low economic areas of Lincoln I didn't know existed. That's where my upbringing caused me to reflect on the unconditional love and value my friends and family had for me and how I wanted to develop that connection with my students, especially those who were growing up in environments much different than mine. It's been a long journey and I'm still a work in progress, but I've been so blessed by God to have worked with thousands of students, some of whom I still connect with and even teach alongside today. I've lived in the Scott Middle School neighborhood these past 21 years and have thoroughly enjoyed being a part of the neighborhood I teach within. This opportunity is unique because it allows me to know Scott Middle School families more closely, even right on the block I live on, and I get to see the students grow through high school and beyond. And they get to see I'm a real person that doesn't just live at school. And finally, even though this is a thank you teacher event, I want to thank Connor for recognizing me. She started as a student in my 7th grade class and became a student assistant for me in 8th grade, a highly coveted position, right? I get more requests than that than I can fill. I watched her grow as an assistant by helping and encouraging the younger 7th grade students to do their best in my class. She always set the bar high for them, just like I expected. Her growing leadership qualities and spunky personality, that's Connor, were a welcome delight each day. Connor is a special person to have written this nomination for me, even though 3 to 4 years have passed since she was a student in 7th and 8th grade. I can hardly believe she's now a junior in high school. How many students take the time to reflect and eloquently write what she did for me all these years later? Humility is characterized by gratitude. And I thank Connor for being an example of humility to us and her peers by showing appreciation for the impact someone had in their life. Let's follow her example and find a way to appreciate those that helped us become who we are today, no matter how much time has passed. Maybe that's a parent, relative, teacher, employer, neighbor, friend, or colleague. Thank you. That way.
I'm very sorry. Everyone keeps saying it's hard to follow that up. It is. Wow. Here we are at another full circle moment. Our next letter writer attended North Star High School, graduating in 2010. Now, she teaches side by side by her former teacher and current mentor, Tony Quattrocchi. Would Alicia, Chab, and Tony please join me up here at the podium?
I got my Kleenex, so we're good. All right. Not many people are fortunate enough to work with their heroes, but I am one of them. I work at my alma mater, Lincoln North Star High School, as an LPS student alum turned teacher, and Tony Quattrocchi is one of the reasons I am a teacher today. He was my AP US history teacher back when I was a student at North Star many moons ago. I took a 7 a.m. class, and every day I looked forward to coming to class. Yes, even at 7 a.m. All because of him. He made learning fun, enjoyable, and lit this interest in education in me that I did not know I had. He was always kind, funny, and he held us to these high but achievable expectations. He made learning challenging and fun. Every day, I try to live up to be the teacher that he was back in 2009 and currently is in 2025. I have the unique experience to be a member of his department and experience education from the professional side as well. Because of this, I am able to understand true servant leadership. Tony leads our department with so much poise, patience, wisdom, and respect. We couldn't have a better person to guide us, root for us, and represent us. I hope he knows how proud I am to be one of his social studies teachers and attempt to follow in his footsteps as a Gator great.
Wow. Thanks. I feel like we have a lot of North Star vibes in this room right now, which is great because it's a great school. Alicia is a graduate of Lincoln North Star, as she mentioned. She was part of our 7 a.m. family back in 2009 at North Star. The 7 a.m. family, as I like to call it, is one of the options we have for AP US History, and one I've had the privilege to teach for over 20 years at North Star. Chabs is now one of our great leaders at North Star, teaching various social studies classes, and she helps run our student council. We could easily be switching spots. I should be thanking her, which leads me to say this: Lincoln North Star is an excellent school, and one where, as a teacher, I'm just as much learning from the students as they learn from me. And the biggest reason for that is because of the diversity of our school. It's amazing. It has been especially gratifying to see alumni return to North Star to teach. Alicia is one example of this. We have others in our building right now, and I'm proud to say that
we've had 2 others that are in the social studies department at North Star that I had as students. So we've had 3 social studies teachers back in our department that were in our school, high school. And that's amazing. We are in year 22 at North Star, and I am what we call at North Star OG. I'm not the only OG in this room. That stands for Original Gator. A lot of my students now probably call me more Old Gator, that reference. I've been in LPS for over 30 years, and I'm very appreciative of all the incredible students and staff I've had the opportunity to work with. I would like to thank Megan Kroll, who is here today, and she's our principal, and she's also an OG. She's an Original Gator, not an Old Gator. I'm an Old Gator. I'd also like to thank former outstanding leaders we've had at North Star, including the person who started the school, and that's Dr. Nancy Becker. And we have another Original Gator in the room, Dr. Van Price, who was my principal for several years. And another person that's in LPS, Ryan Zabava, was also a former principal at Lincoln North Star. And I also noticed Mike Gelati sitting over there. Mike Gelati is a good friend of mine, but also was at one time an administrator at North Star and a social study teacher. So we've kind of had a tree. I'd also like to thank Superintendent John Skretta for his leadership, but more importantly, for giving us his son, Jacob, who student taught for me at North Star, and he is now a social studies teacher at Lincoln Northwest. I'd also like to recognize the group I get a chance to lead, which Chabs is a part of, and that's the social studies department. The most important thing we do in our department at North Star is to build positive relationships and get kids excited about learning. There are many ways to do the job of a teacher and be very effective at it. Although not always easy, I can say with confidence the social studies department at North Star is as good as any around the state in building positive relationships and getting kids excited about learning. The goal is always to have kids leave our classes feeling they have learned material, but also that they've enjoyed the positive experience they've had. And where they not only enjoyed the teacher, but also respected the teacher. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Amy, who is here. She spent a lot of years as a coach's wife because I coached basketball at North Star for a long time, and that's not easy to do, to be a head coach's wife. Additionally, 2 of my kids are here, my older son, Anthony, and my younger son, Ben, who's got to get back to class at Southwest here. Thanks also to KFOR, KFRX for all you do for our school district for this breakfast, also for what you do for our students in the city. Thank you to the LPS Foundation, the Lincoln Education Association, to the Governor's Mansion, to having this event. And in closing, thank you should really go out to all teachers. They all deserve this kind of recognition, not me. Everybody does, for the hard work commitment they put into working with young people. Some might say it's not an easy job to be a teacher right now, but I would say teachers are more needed now than ever before. Teachers are all truly public servants. Thank you.
I want to go back to school. Okay. And that brings us to our last winner today. This category honors retired educators. Today's winner was also recognized by a different student during our Thank You Teacher event 20 years ago in 2005. But our committee felt like we should honor her again, as the lessons of her time at LPS continues to make an impact today, 30 years after her retirement. Doris Wiens taught at Meadow Lane, Bethany, Calvert, Zeman Elementary Schools prior to retiring in 1995. Doris was nominated by former student Lori Meyer Johnson, who joins us today from Colorado. Would Doris and Lori please join me up here at the podium?
Hi, I first want to congratulate all 5 teachers, and especially my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Wiens, who was my favorite teacher all around. She taught at Bethany School, taught me in '67. And Mrs. Wiens could read a story, she could explain the meaning, she could relate it to a life experience. She brought in her auto harp to help us sing, and then she taught each one of us how to play it. Mrs. Wiens built up my confidence when I had low self-esteem. I never forget how when I was filling out my schedule for junior high, Mrs. Wiens told me that I could take music or art because I was good at both, and I couldn't believe that. Mrs. Wiens taught both of my brothers, Larry and Danny. She went to my grandparents' church, and they brought me homemade bibs from Mrs. Wiens for both of my kids when they were babies. She's so caring. Josh and Amy were taught music from Mrs. Wiens during Redeemer Lutheran midweek Bible class. My dad even knew Mrs. Wiens' husband. And now I want to add that now my husband, Tony, gets to finally meet Mrs. Wiens. The last time I think that I saw Mrs. Wiens was at the state office building where I worked for the telephone company as a technician. I rode up the elevator with Mrs. Wiens when she told me that she was going to the department to fill out her retirement papers. I told her again that she was my favorite teacher. I'm turning 70 soon, and I just wanted to let Mrs. Wiens know what a blessing that she is to my family and to me, and how she changed my life as a 12-year-old. Thank you, Mrs. Wiens.
Greetings to the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Nebraska, to the personnel from LPS and from KFOR, KFRX, and to the other honorees, to everyone gathered here. I am honored to be chosen as the Retired Teacher of the Year, thanks to my student Lori. I am also humbled because there are so many other retired teachers who are deserving of this award. There's a saying I like to use, that old teachers never die, they just lose their class. Well, maybe we don't, because Lori remembered me, and her brothers Dan and Larry did too. Being a teacher was a great career. Each day there were new experiences and new challenges. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that patience is the ability to idle your motor when you feel like stripping your gears. Sometimes students need to consider themselves to be like a postage stamp. They need to have the ability to stick to one thing till they get it there. Have you complimented anyone lately? Mark Twain said he could live for 2 months on a good compliment. So can a student, or a family member, or a neighbor, whoever. Children are very observant. They really won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And who knows? The President of the United States 50 years from now may be sitting in a classroom. We hope she is having a good day. I like to write poetry, and so I've written a poem for this day. Teachers love their students. They name them one by one. The teacher gets excited when their work's all done. There's a list of spelling words, math problems every day, lots of social studies, and recess time for play. Reading class is important, new words for them to learn. Oral reading's lots of fun. They have to wait their turn. Wonder what's for lunch today? They hope it's something great, like cinnamon rolls and chili. They can hardly wait. These boys and girls, my students, what will their future bring? Success in their endeavors? That would make me sing. Each one has touched my life. I hope that I've touched theirs. Maybe we will meet again sometime in the next few years. And I'll leave you with this thought that's important to me. When you leave here today and every day, when you see someone without a smile, you just give them one of yours. Thank you.
I want you in here. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Lori, for sharing the impact that Doris had on you and so many others. Congratulations once again to all of our winners, and thank you to every teacher in Lincoln, Lancaster County, and also Nebraska. You really, truly make a difference in the lives of so many. And as we close today's ceremony, I would like to recognize individuals who made today's ceremony possible and also say a few quick thank yous. First, let's thank Diane Regner and the Governor's Mansion staff for another amazing breakfast. And also thank you, of course, to Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly and his wife Susan for taking time out of their busy schedule. Also the Lincoln Board of Education members and all of the LPS administrators who joined us to help honor these educators today. Thank you to the LPS Communications Department team for organizing today's event and all the planning that leads up to it, including Julie Dansky, Marlena Thornton, Brianna Wyckoff, Brent Harden, Emily Antone, Ryan Schmanik, Simon Turner, Helena Tran, Brian Fitzgerald, Joshua Genrich, David Kane, and Brian Seiferlein, and one person that never adds her name to the list but should be thanked, our Executive Director of Communications, Mindy Burbach. Also, thank you to the nomination committee, who includes Kayla Jaycox from the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools and Deb Rasmussen from the Lincoln Education Association. I want to honor today's sponsors, the Lincoln Public Schools, KFOR, KFRX, with support from the Lincoln Education Association and the Foundation for Lincoln Public Schools for providing today's $1,000 cash reward. And also, just a quick reminder to our winners, we want you to stick around so that we can get another photo of you after the ceremony. Now, these photos and a full recording of today's event are going to be available soon on the LPS website, so check that out later. And thank you again for everyone joining us this morning, and please take a moment, thank a teacher who has made a difference in your life. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming.